the human brain. It serves as a complex roadmap of the world we experience. It gives directions to our thoughts and perceptions so we arrive at our destination safely and efficiently. But people with neurological brain disorders like schizophrenia or manic depression have been given a map with roads that don't meet where they should, bridges that are missing, and routes that lead to nowhere. If you met a fellow traveler misguided by his map, would you judge him and leave him stranded, or would you get out your map and help him find his way?
High blood pressure medication in Cleveland, Ohio.
Arthritis medicine in Caliente, California.
Cholesterol pills in Peoria, Illinois.
I'm Montel Williams. Mile by mile, Americans are getting help paying for medicine through the Partnership for Prescription Assistance.
BPA is a lifesaver.
I'm saving about $650.
It wasn't complicated at all.
5 days later, there was my medicine, and I jumped for joy.
If you need help, you don't have to wait for the bus to get on board. Just call 1-888-4PPA now to see if you may qualify. A trained specialist will help you apply. Just tell them the names of the medicine you take. You could get them free or nearly free.
With the PPA, I can take my medicine daily.
I would like to thank them 100 times, 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times.
I've always heard where there's a will, there's a way, and I think this was our way.
So whether you're in Morgantown, West Virginia, or Bangor, Maine, call this free service at 1-888-4PPA now. The Partnership for Prescription Assistance, on the road to helping you.
Hi there, I'm Joe Tyler, and we're here with a special edition of Erasing the Stigma with Montel Williams, who made an appearance with me at the Monte Vista Hospital in Las Vegas on April 5th, and it's a really great segment, so I'd like you to see it. Red is my color, Montel.
Okay, cool.
I dress in conceit, I'm brilliant. You know why? Because I know the Partnership for
Partnership for Prescription Assistance. That's all right.
That's hard to say.
It's a tough one. Partnership for Prescription Assistance. You got to hear me say it for commercial. It's like It's a couple times I got like 5 or 6 takes. Partnership for Prescription Assistance.
Let's take it. Yeah. My color is red. I dress in conceit. I'm brilliant. You know why?
What's that?
Because I know the toll-free number for the Partnership for Prescription Assistance.
That's it.
Oh.
The PPA.
PPA. Okay, and the number is
1-888.
1-888-4
PPA.
PPA now.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
and
it.
That's all you got to know, really. I mean, you can look on the website.
PPARX.org. You can look up there, but see, what people need to understand is that when you dial that number, not only if they need it, they ought to pass that number on to a friend, because so far to date, which has been great, unbelievable, in the last 2 years, by calling that number or coming up on that website, 4 million people in America have received medication for free or nearly free at their doorstep just by calling that number or coming up on my website through this program, the Partnership for Prescription Assistance.
And that's numbers that would maybe have to choose between medications and food.
And not only that, but these are people who would have otherwise gone without. Not only making a choice between one or the other, these are people who, in some cases, didn't even have the ability to make a choice. They couldn't get it at all. And now, because of this program, they have an opportunity, because we call it Help Is Here. Help is here right now. In the state of Nevada alone, this program has already helped 25,000 Nevadans.
We got to get more.
Nevadans. It's helped 25,000 Nevadans, but guess what? 125,000 qualify.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And all you have to do is be a family of 4, 200% below the poverty line, that's making less than $36,000 a year, and no insurance, or a family of 2, 200% below the poverty line, making less than $24,000 a year, and no insurance. They may qualify. You call the number. It takes 10 minutes. That's what's so crazy about this. You call the number. In 10 minutes, they'll let you know if you qualify. 7 out of 10 people who call the number qualify, and those people receive medication either delivered to their doorstep or their doctor's doorstep in less than 3 to 4 weeks. It's been happening all across America. And again, it's no excuse for, like you had said earlier, for people right now to be making choices between putting heat or getting food or paying for daycare for their child for a week, or getting the medication that they need. What's been incredible about this program is that the majority of people being helped are single mothers who've had to make those tough decisions about whether or not they give something to their child or themselves.
And Now I come at it from a mental health viewpoint.
Sure.
Which means I'm the National Alliance on Mental Illness chapter president for Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
And Montel, I wanted to ask you, you've done a lot of, through your 16 years of broadcasting, you've done a lot of shows about people with brain disorders.
Absolutely, not only brain disorders, but I've also done a lot of shows on people who suffer from depression and suffer from bipolar disorders. Mm-hmm. So, which is brain disorder, but it's been crazy in a sense that it wasn't until I came forward myself and admitted to my own depression. I suffer from clinical depression. Mm-hmm. It's one of the symptoms from my disease, MS, because, and if you want to go technically about it, because we have so much minuscule swelling when the disease is active in the brain, that causes some chemical mixing, chemical distortions, and that has been proven now to cause depression. One of our primary symptoms across the board with people with MS is depression. But unfortunately, people were too afraid to talk about it, just like people were too afraid to discuss the fact that they even had symptoms for this illness. And just like there are people who are too afraid to discuss the fact that, you know what, I know there's something wrong. Mm-hmm. I know there's something that's not right. I need help. They're too often ridiculed, too afraid to go and get it. So we talk about that on the show. I just had a young lady on the show recently who, just horrific, survived a horrific domestic violence issue, mm-hmm. Several blows to the head, mm-hmm. And that have done clear, deep brain bruising, deep brain issue problems. Mm-hmm. She has short-term memory problems, considerable short-term memory loss, and has battled with deep depression for this. But she turned this around and is becoming a champion and is running for Miss Colorado right now because she wants to use as a platform the fact that, And
that harkens me back to Thomas Eagleton.
Yes.
Many, many years ago, who they ran something on, who was Gary Hart's running mate.
Yep.
And he didn't get an opportunity to be a vice president because he had major depression.
Correct. And you know what? Even now, I think it's very funny by more people coming forward, more people being willing to discuss it, and the fact that a program like the PPA is available, because there are people who are receiving their antidepressant medication through the PPA. Programs like this are making people less reticent to speak out and ask for help. I think also the fact that there are people like yourself and myself who speak out openly about what we deal with. There are so many other people who walk up to me all the time and say, dude, took a lot of what, because I'm afraid to say it, but I got the same problem. I mean, the number of men who are businessmen, people who are upstanding members of this community, who have walked up to me and said, thank you for coming forward, because it made me want to say something to my family. But there's so many of them who are too afraid. Because why? Why? We look at illness in this country as weakness. Yeah. And unfortunately, people don't understand that people can be ill and not weak. And unfortunately, those of us that are ill don't want to be looked at as being weak, so we're too afraid to speak. I'm glad that, though, now more information is coming out. There's more medication available. There's more different alternatives that are out there. People just need to know about them. And so I'm going to keep speaking out about it, and I'm glad that you do, too.
Yeah, and I've been doing the show for 13 years, and it's an opportunity to get politicians, to get providers, to get everybody on, to get consumers. I am a consumer of mental health services.
Correct.
I have schizophrenia, and I come forward and talk about it. I talk about the crazy stuff,
And and what it does is, not that it is numbing us to members of our society who are different than us. It's making us more aware, and the fact that you can speak out openly about your schizophrenia, it makes me understand and not fear you. So if I don't fear you, maybe I might become a little bit more compassionate and be willing to help you. And then when I start helping you, now we can start solving the problem. But unfortunately, we have set up mental health. That's one of the, I think as we look back as a society on what we've done as far as health care as a society, 100 years from now, we'll note how poorly we did in managing and assisting those of us who are just a little differently abled, especially in mental capability, we're going to recognize what we've done wrong. And one of the things that we've done wrong is, number one, we set up a system where those who don't suffer from mental illness are taught to fear those of us that are mentally ill. And as long as that fear is still there, we won't have people reaching out to help.
Having a brain disorder as severe as I've had, I just have to, I feel like giving back to the community. And
well, and that's really what it's all about.
I mean, and you can't, I couldn't put a price tag on it, you know? I mean, it's like, I know it costs a lot to keep me in medications, because certainly these psychotropic meds are not cheap.
Right.
They're expensive. And you talked today about how your MS medication is so expensive.
It's a fact.
I mean, but they give us quality of life that we can't.
And the good thing about it is that for those out there right now who need a little helping hand, a little boost up, a little pickup, those people out there who need it right now can get it, and get it through this PPA program. And I got to give the number out again, but it's 1-888-4-PPA now, or come up pparx.org and understand, again, help is here right now. That's what that bus is all about. You know, the bus is kind of like our symbolic roving billboard,
yes.
But people can actually walk on the bus and sign up and be registered and see if they qualify, and if they qualify, they'll get the medication at the doorstep. Medication like the drugs that you're talking about. Yeah. There's so many people out there who are suffering at home, afraid to go to the doctor, but they can call this number, and if the doctor's already prescribed it, bingo, bango, they're getting it. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. It was cool to do a far better talk show than I've ever done before, as a result of working with the ever-motivational, awe-inspiring Montel Williams. I saw him and felt his presence while melting into the crowd in the early spring heat, as he spoke before some 200 folk in Las Vegas at the North Vista Hospital. I saw him and heard them say, "Montell be on his way," and sure enough, we looked to the bushes and saw the man himself, sly as he be, with one big bodyguard beside him like an elf, getting right into the plot, 'cause the sun was hot. And as Ken Johnson, his line he stole, he'd had MS and was depressed, or so he told, but knew he did and talk he did, about exercise and the likes for men who do provide those medicines for the poor who are now wise, by signing up for and using the 1-888-4-PPA now, and just how he'd get us all who did help out to relive the Robin Hood story, making us all repeat the number and remember, steal it from the rich and give it to the poor, and you too can get the glory, for this was his story, for all who belie just under 2 times the poverty level, for you who be eligible, for free life-supporting drugs like the ones Montell does, which, as he recalls, cost $2,700 a month, but give him quality of life unparalleled without strife, or he ain't Montell, I hope to tell.
We're here today to try and do our part to help uninsured Nevadans who are struggling to pay their bills. My name's Ken Johnson. I'm the Senior Vice President for the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, also known as PhRMA, and we represent America's brand name drug companies. On April 5th, 2005, 2 years ago today, we started the Partnership for Prescription Assistance. What we're trying to do is to take the mystery out of finding help when it comes to prescription medicines. You know, the companies that I represent have had patient assistance programs for more than 50 years, but frankly, we didn't do a very good job of advertising them, and they tended to be confusing because by federal law, you can't have just one form and you can't have just one program. So every company had to have its own eligibility requirements. And so for people who needed help, it oftentimes became confusing to the point where people just gave up. And what we wanted to let you know today is that there is hope and there is help out there. And it's called the Partnership for Prescription Assistance.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome PPA here. We're really excited about this partnership here. Like Ken had said, I can't emphasize it enough how important it is to see families that need the prescription care to continue with their health care needs. We see it every day leaving our facility. Where am I going to get the money for the prescription? Where are we going to get this? After we were talking to PPA over the last couple of weeks, we took the brochures. We hand them out to our patients. We help any way we possibly can to be that partner that help give the assistance to live a good quality life. We look forward to continuing this partnership with PPA, and I just think it's just a wonderful thing. Our hospital's proud to host this event today, and I want to thank everybody for coming out and thank Montell for being here. This is a very, very exciting program, and we're in it for the long haul.
Good morning and welcome. The Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance has supported the Partnership for Prescriptions since it first began. The program single-handedly has brought many organizations together for the single purpose of helping Americans get the medicines they need than any other program in existence. This program saves lives. I say that because I know this firsthand. Our organization deals with the invisible disability, mental health. We have families that are working families that have no insurance, and families that don't work, that don't have insurance, that move here from other states, that have children with a mental illness, that can't afford the insurance for their prescriptions. And these kids have now hope. Their parents have hope because of this program.
I'm the Chief Medical Officer for Nevada Health Centers. We're actually a private not-for-profit corporation that strives to care for people regardless of their ability to pay. We have last year served 53,000 people and had 120,000 patient visits. Many of those patients are come to us with little or no ability to pay for their medical services. And as these patients apply for these prescriptions, they are going to necessarily have a prescription access issue with the physician as well, and we're here to help with that as well. I'm proud to work with the Partnership for Prescription Assistance, but also for many other organizations that do this type of work. I was given a proclamation to deliver to Ken personally today, and it says, it's from the governor of our great state of Nevada, which says, whereas many Nevadans have difficulty affording health care, including prescription medications, and whereas more than 1,300 leading national, state, and local organizations, including NAMI, the Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance, the Nevada Health Centers, American Red Cross, Sierra Nevada Center, and also whereas the state of Nevada recognizes the importance of increasing patient access to the prescription medications they need to live their productive lives. Now, therefore, Jim Gibbons, Governor of the state of Nevada, do hereby proclaim April 5th, 2007 as Partnership for Prescription Day.
Thank you, Carl. We're going to provide the safety net for people who have no place else to turn. And I'm proud to say that a lot of people are turning to PPA today because of Montel Williams. You know, when we started this program, we knew if we were going to get broad awareness of the program, if we were going to go from 5% of Americans to 95% of Americans who know that help's available to people who are struggling, we needed a public face. We needed someone who was credible, someone who was believable, someone who is passionate about what he does. And the first person that came to mind was Montel Williams. You know, in his long history in television, Montel has had an opportunity to endorse everything from cars to hamburgers, and he has said no every single time because he didn't believe in it. And when we talked about this program, we said, Montel, we want you to help us get the word out that we want to provide free medicines to people who are struggling to pay their bills. And he's kind of like, run that by me one more time. And once he understood what this program was, it took him about 2 minutes to say, I'm ready, let's do it. And he has been with us every step of the way since then. He has been with us all across America. He's been in Florida. He's been in Alaska. He's been in New York. He has been in Texas. And today he's in Las Vegas, Nevada. He is a super, super person. You know, Montell is, you see him on television. Everyone knows him as a talk show host. But he's also a humanitarian. He's a best-selling author. And most of all, he is a tremendous human being. I'm proud to call Montel Williams my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your friend, Montel Williams.
Thank you. You know, it should be no surprise as to why I'm involved in this program. And what's been incredible for me is the opportunity to use my face and really truly use my celebrity for something that's good. Ken's right. I've been in this business for 16 years. My show has been on the air for 16 years. I will complete my 3,200th show at the end of the season. And I'll be on next year number 17. And in this 16-year period of time, I've been approached by everybody that you can think of to see if I would sell their product. I myself own restaurant chains that I could be on television promoting myself. But instead of that, when I was given the opportunity to do this, I was given this opportunity because and I was very fortunate to have an opportunity to interview Mr. Billy Tozen, who is the president of Pharma, and he is also a cancer survivor and understands himself how important medication is. So when I was talking on my show about his surviving from cancer and talking about the programs that were available, and he asked me, would you consider putting your face to a program that was going to provide medication to people in this country who needed it? I thought right then, okay, there's a program that's going to probably help about 100,000 people, 200,000 people. But I have not heard Ken say this to you yet, but you got to really get this, folks. This is the biggest private sector initiative in the history of this country. In 2 years, the Pharmaceutical Research Corporations of America have given away, are you ready for this? Almost $10 billion worth of free or nearly free medication. $10 billion to almost, the number's almost 4 million people now. Almost 4 million people who would not have otherwise gotten medication got it last year. Now, why is it so important to me? I think a lot of you know that I suffer from MS. And I heard Ken tell you earlier, I apologize for waiting. But the heat like this is my nemesis. This is really 15 minutes of this for me. It shuts me down for half the day. The only thing that keeps me going is the fact that I take 3 needles a day. I take $2,700 worth of medication a month. But for the grace of God, I can afford my medication and combat all of this. There are so many people out there who can't. About 2 years ago, right at the same time that Billy Tozen came on the show, I was standing in the airport in Chicago and I had a woman walk up to me on a walker. It's like this lady's right here. The lady was, mid-30s. She came up to me and she said, Montel, thank God for you. Thank you so much. We finally got a face to put with MS. People now understand what MS is all about. And we talked about it. I talked to her about medication. I talked to her about eating well. I talked about exercise. I talked to her about everything I could think of to help her do better, and turned to walk away. And she said, but wait a minute, I got to tell you one thing. Sometimes you make it hard for us. And I said, what are you talking about? She goes, well, my husband says to me all the time, why don't I get my butt up out of bed and go to work like Montell? Why don't I get up and go work out like Montell? And then I remembered that during that conversation, she said she's not taking any medication. And it would be impossible for her to do this. That's what prompted me to write my book, Climbing Higher. And that's the reason why I'm behind this program, because in this country today, when we can spend close to, and the numbers are so staggering now, they don't even use the right number. They're calling it $7,000 billion. They can't say trillion. But if we spent almost $7 trillion shoving democracy down other people's throats, we should be able to spend a little bit of money to be able to provide medical care for those here in this country. And what's been amazing is, if you just stop for 1 second and think about this, in 2 years, about $10 billion, all right, it might be $9 to $10 billion, supplied medication to 4 million people. Ken said it. There are 46 million uninsured and uninsured Americans. Divide that up. Okay, if you multiply that 9, let's round it off, 10 billion times 12. If they spent $120 billion, we could actually provide medication to every single person in this country that doesn't have insurance, and we could do it for a 3-month period of time and pay for it. Now, think about this for a second. $7 trillion shoving democracy down somebody's throat, $120 billion. We could provide medication for the rest of the people in this country for the rest of their life. And we're not. But fortunately, what's happened is we've decided to do this. And I'm going to tell you, I stand proud to be a part of the PPA, proud to be standing with pharma and making sure this medication is provided and the word gets out. This morning I was doing an interview on a local station, and I was asked, well, doesn't the pharmaceutical industry do some bad things? Okay, you might want to try to pick apart what they do wrong. But this year, 4 million people who would not have had medication got it because of these guys. So I say, why not make sure we validate them and vindicate them when they do well? We'll go after the things that they do wrong, but let's go after the things they do well. And I applaud the pharmaceutical industry for doing this well. We won't be able to do this without your help. A lot of people came out to endure this heat, but I'm going to tell you something. We wanted you to come out today because we want you to walk away here as soldiers. You know for a fact that there is that brother, that sister, that cousin, your friend who is too proud to go to the hospital and ask for help, but they know that if they did it themselves, they would be able to get something. Tell them to call this number. It's very simple to remember, 1-888-4PPA now. I want everybody to say it because I want you to leave here. I want you to tell it to somebody. So say it one time, 1-888-4PPA now. If you can go out here right now and pass that on to the next person and the next person, we'll take care of that 120,000 people in Nevada who need medication and would qualify today. Thank you so much.
Well, we had a great event today. We had more than 400 people show up from across the state of Nevada to help us celebrate the 2-year anniversary of the Partnership for Prescription Assistance. And what's really great about this program is the fact that since we launched it, we've helped more than 25,000 people all across the state of Nevada get access to free medicines. But we're not satisfied. By our estimates, there are probably 150,000 people who would qualify today, right now, this very instant, if they just knew about the program. And so that's why we're here in Nevada, that's why we're going to come back to Nevada, and that's why we're determined to make certain that every single person, not just across the state, but across America, every single person who wants help gets help.
The Partnership for Prescription Assistance is dedicated to helping Americans in need. You can make a free phone call to 1-888-4PPA now or go online at www.pparx.org. And in 10 minutes, you'll find out whether or not you're eligible for help. If you qualify, you may receive your medication free or nearly free. I got behind the PPA because I'm all about finding solutions to a problem, and the PPA is, guess what? A great solution. For months, I've been crisscrossing the country letting people know about the PPA, and I'm going to keep doing everything I can to get the word out. For many people, help is just one phone call away.
I'm Montel Williams. The Partnership for Prescription Assistance is traveling to all 50 states, making stops in more than 500 cities to help people pay for their medicine.
The PPA has been terrific. It's really changed my life.
Let me say right from the jump, this program is real. The help you can get is real. Thank you. If you need help, you don't have to wait for the bus to get on board. Just call 1-888-4PPA now to see if you may qualify. A trained specialist will help you apply. Just tell them the names of the medicine you take. You could get them free or nearly free.
It has been a lifesaver for me in more ways than one.
This past year, America's pharmaceutical companies gave away more than $5 billion worth of medicines to people in need.
It really helped me out of a tough spot.
So whether you live in the Sunshine State or the land of the midnight sun, if you need help, just call 1-888-4PPA now. The Partnership for Prescription Assistance, on the road to helping you.